Hello, my name is Cheryl Wilson and I'm an abstract artist, and for those that are coming back to my channel, again, thank you very much for being a part of my life and a part of my artist journey. And those that are new, welcome. I do a lot of demonstrations, but I talk a lot about the concepts of abstract art and what I've learned myself as an artist. And so I thought today I would have a cup of coffee with you and just talk about 10 steps to start your art. Now I've got the 10 steps written down in front of me so I won't forget what they are, but most of what I'm going to be talking about is just from my heart, off the cuff, examples of in my life these particular concepts. And so they are ones from experience and from how I've grown my art. So let's get started and see if any of these will help you. Some you might relate to, some you might not, but let's just get started. All right. Hope you have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, or if it's later, a glass of wine, or one of my favorite beverages, just plain water. 10 steps to start your art. One of the most important ones to me is just to schedule a time in your day to be in your creative space. Now, this doesn't mean necessarily being in there to create art and paint. Just being in your space, scheduling a specific time during the day or during the week, whether it's in the daytime, the evening, or wherever it is, schedule that time, even if it's 5 or 10 minutes or an hour, to be in your creative space. I am fortunate enough to have a studio in my home. I've had studios outside. I've had studios here at the home. I love being here where I can come down at any time during the day and paint. But having that special time where you are spending in your creative space, it just helps you have a mindset on a daily basis that you are being inspired, whether it's looking at magazines or books, looking at Pinterest, just reviewing the art you've done, painting in a journal, whatever it is. It's getting in your art space to do something. I find that if I let time lapse, and I've let as much as a week go where I haven't come in here, it's harder to get started. But if I come in here every day and do something, even if it's to clean up and organize, I have given myself the permission to be in a creative space. And many times I will just pick up a paintbrush and work on a painting that I have started, or work in my journal, or I just get inspired to keep the creative mindset going, so that I stay in the zone of being an artist. 2, don't worry when you are painting about the outcome. I was given this advice by someone because I came from a corporate environment, the business world. And the advice that was given to me was paint what people want to buy. And let me tell you right up front, that was not the best advice to give me. Because when I did that, I came into my studio and I started painting with an outcome, with an idea in mind of what the finished painting was going to be. And I was not successful in my paintings. Not all of them turned out bad, but 1, I wasn't having fun, and 2, I wasn't my true authentic self. I wasn't painting who I was as an abstract artist. So my advice to you, and how I feel I've grown as an artist, is I don't worry about the outcome. I come in and I start my painting, I start my writing, whatever your creativeness is, and I just let it flow. I take risks that way. I am open, and I'm not worried about what the finished product looks like, and I've been much happier. My art has taken on a much different path. I've been freer when I've had that mindset. 3, do at least one thing a day to inspire your soul. And I say your soul is because it may not inspire you at first, but if you're inspiring your soul, eventually your body kind of follows. For instance, watch a YouTube video. If I don't feel good that day, and I just don't think I want to paint, I'll turn on and watch a YouTube video, and I hope you're watching mine, and hopefully that will inspire you. And there's been times I've turned the YouTube video off and I've just gone down to my studio and I started painting, because something about getting inspired from watching other people paint, or just watching, looking at paintings in an art gallery on the YouTube, just gets you excited. 2, look at abstract art on Pinterest. You're gonna start your Pinterest boards, and you're gonna start finding you're pinning particular pieces of art that speak to you. And when you go back and look at those pieces of art, it just kind of gets you inspired. Go to a museum if you like to get out, and you have museums around the area. Go to a museum, and it will automatically just get you excited to paint. Glance through your art books. I have a whole bunch of art books, and I love looking through them. And many times I'll just take a bunch of them and I'll just put them in front of me, and then I just start sketching, or I start painting on paper, and it just gets me inspired to eventually start on a canvas. Or take a walk through nature. I do landscape abstracts, but they're not a focal point of my creative body of work. But when I take walks outside in nature, I will see things, or at least when I do it with the mindset of doing it to be inspired, I will see shapes, I will see colors, and a lot of times I will take a notebook with me where I will write down some of the things that inspire me. And so getting out, getting some fresh air, some vitamin D is a good way to take some deep breaths and to create colors that look good together. 4, when you sit down to paint, do not, and I've been there, compare yourself to other artists. Once you start going down this path, it's really hard to go back until you all of a sudden catch your mind and then you say stop. But if you compare yourself, especially if you do one of these other points where I tell you to look at Pinterest or look at Facebook or Instagram to get inspired, don't take the next step and start comparing yourself to these other artists. Everybody's on a different path. You may work full time and do your painting in the evening, and so your path, and that's how I started. I painted after work for several years. Your painting journey may not go as fast as someone who's painting full time and going to art school or taking a lot of courses online. Just don't compare yourself, because all that does is discourage you. You are your own artist. You have your own design path in your art journey. Your particular way that, like the painting behind me, the strokes and the way you put your marks on your canvas or your paper are going to be different. And you don't want, when you first start, if you are painting like another artist from a course, that's okay, but eventually you're going to get away from that. That's not comparing yourself to them, but you need to get away from, let's put it in a positive spin. You need to find your voice, and the only way you're going to do that is by not comparing yourself, and just to know you're not in a race. You are in a, if you want to be in a competition, you're in a competition with your own self, but you're not even in a competition with yourself. You are at your own pace, learning your art marks and what things that you like yourself. Number 5, schedule a Zoom call or have a meeting with other artists in your area. Or, I have an artist friend in England that we get together on Zoom. And it's just encouraging to find out what she's doing. Another artist in the area. I have a local artist that will bring her paintings over to me, and we would just talk about the different abstract components that we like. I have another artist friend that he does oil paintings, and it's really fun to sit down and talk with him about his art journey. He's been painting for years, and our paintings are so totally different from each other. But just talking with him about art concepts and all things art is just very encouraging, and it just helps me when I get back in my studio to feel inspired. Number 6, be kind to yourself. Block the negative thoughts that come into your mind. And as soon as these negative thoughts or any negative thoughts, and they're there, and they will come no matter what level you are in your art, just say, okay, leave my art space, leave my art studio, and just block them, because they can be so harsh in your creative mindset that they can actually stop you from the joy of the process of painting. And that leads to number 7, enjoy the journey. Time of creating should not bring anxiety. If you have anxiety when you paint because you're comparing yourself, or you're being negative, or your inner critic is coming into the room with you, you're not going to enjoy the process. And so enjoy this journey that you're on, learning how to paint, or exploring, if you're a seasoned painter, exploring a new journey that you're going on, or new concepts. Enjoy that, and enjoy the process. And just, if you have to write yourself a big note, enjoy the process. Do that. I mean, I have little notes all over the place that remind me, because I tend to let I'm a very much of an empath, and I let feelings enter into my creative space. But when I come in my space, I literally look at the door and I say, okay, the anything negative thought, leave. Any past teachers that have criticized me, leave. They have no room in my art studio with me when I'm being creative. So I hope some of that information I just shared about myself helps. 8, keep a journal. Write down the things that you love in your art. I tell people that I train, and I do one-on-one training with artists, to keep a journey of those things that they love. If they make a mark that they love, like I like doing over here, I keep pointing over here, but I like doing the black marks, and I like to do in circles. I like writing, sgraffito and marks in my paintings. Those are things that I write down so that when I'm stuck, I can look at my list, and I have it right over here on my board, that I grab one of those thoughts, make a mark, and it just takes me beyond the being stuck mark into being creative again. If you keep yourself a journal with you, even if it's a small pad of paper, and you take it with you, like say you're watching a movie and there is there's a line in the movie that you find inspires you, write that down. It might be a great title for one of your paintings. Or if you hear a song and you feel a certain emotion or the words, write those words down, because those will inspire you to use some of those thoughts in a painting title, or just to inspire you with your colors that you're going to be adding to your art. Number 9, think about joining a group. I belong to several groups on Facebook, and it's just going to take some time to look through the different groups and join a group. Even if you don't share your art, even if you don't talk, just join the group and Interacting to me is important, but just you can get enjoyment from what others are saying, what others are sharing. I do encourage you to share your art if you feel safe in that group. I have joined groups before, and as soon as someone makes a comment about my painting, when I did not ask for a comment, I will leave the group. I want to feel safe when I'm in the group, and I want to know that when I'm sharing a piece of art, it may not be to ask for comments. It may be just to share maybe a win that I have, or to share my art because I know others in the group and it's just fun for them to see my progress. Or if I do want feedback, I will ask for it, and the feedback is kind. If it's negative or it's making you feel bad being in the group, get out of it. There's thousands of groups on Facebook that you can join that are kind and helpful. And 10, and this is really important. I used to think that I had to find my style. I had to stick with that style. And when I went outside of that style to explore another area, I felt like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. But if there's something in your soul that is saying, explore painting in a certain way, or explore, say you don't do texture on a normal basis, and something is telling you to add texture, and you keep looking at paintings with texture, go ahead and try that. That's when I've made big strides, and I have found that your core style will remain the same, but you're just adding another dimension. And you may find that there is something about the new style that you are doing that really complements your art process. For instance, I have a series of art where I actually tear the canvas, and I call it my torn series. And it came out of a very emotional time in my life where I actually needed that emotion. And the pieces come out very raw for me, and I love them. And it's not a style that maybe I would have done had I not allowed myself to explore something that was down inside my soul that I wanted to get out. You just might discover something that's really inspiring and interesting down deep inside of you. So I hope these 10 points of how to start your art have been helpful. There's probably another whole 10 I could give you. And I have some other ideas of videos where some thoughts that I thought maybe would help. But I hope this one has helped you, and at least one or two of them have been helpful to you, or you think about them. But I'd love to hear from you as to any of these ideas that you might, that have sparked an interest or have helped you in your art journey. But again, thank you for joining me. I've enjoyed this cup of coffee with you, and have a great day. And again, just thank you for being a part of my art world and my art journey with me.